Welcome to the creaking, salt-soaked tables of the Brazen Hydra Pub in Bilgewater. We're your hosts, and Grove and
Conquest,
and today we'll be sharing a pint and talking all things Runeterra and beyond. So, Bandle Tale is out and about. We'll talk about Riot MMO expectations, what kind of timeline we're looking at right now with 2xKO coming out in 2025, and what are our thoughts? Now all the footage is out. There's a lot more footage going around of 2xKO. Talk a little bit about the beta that's coming up. But let's start off with nice and easy. Let's hit up some Bandle Tale, because I'm still running through Bandle Tale. I want to know your thoughts on the game overall, and then where you're at right now in the game.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't played too much since our last podcast, since those two are pretty close together. So I'm still chilling in Yarnville tutorial land, but I do want to talk a little bit about the way the item management and the crafting works in that game, because I like how it's very, very casual, right? This feels like a very soft RPG, and I can kind of appreciate that. I really like how I'm not expecting this game to be too long, right? My guess is this game is going to be like
it's very long.
How many hours are you in right now?
I don't know. You want me to check?
Yeah,
let me check.
Genuinely.
Here, let's check. I think
I was thinking this is going to be like max, like this is going to be like your average 10-hour game, right?
No,
that's what I was thinking it was going to be.
Isn't there a way to see? I think there's a way to see like play time.
Oh yeah, you're on Switch. Yeah, there's definitely a way.
Yeah, I'm at 25 hours or more. And
holy crap! Do you think you're like close to the end?
Yeah, no, I'm nearing the end. Like, do you see the
I thought it was gonna be.
No, it's a lot. And I honestly, like, if you want 100% it, there's even more. Like, I haven't really done much fishing yet, and you probably don't even know what that is. But I got to do a bunch of fishing.
Oh no, yeah, I already tried. Like, they show like a fishing spot, and it's like, oh, I can't fish yet. They've already hit me with that. So
yeah, you don't really have to fish, but I want to fish. But like, no, the game gets pretty big, and it keeps getting bigger, and the stuff gets a little bit more complex. Like, you start out where, okay, I get some yarn. Now I take the yarn and I weave it into this, and then I use that to create some cloth. It's like super simple, but then it gets into like, you start having to combine magic and heat and all this stuff to create something that you then use to create something else.
Oh my
and you have
god!
To and then even like cooking, bro. Cooking becomes freaking fire. Like I start getting, I like it. Overcooked.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's overcooked. It gets to that level where you're running around, you're trying to juggle a bunch of different things. You got a couple things turning in the pot. You got another thing that's being grinded up while you're cooking something else. And you got two things sitting on the plate because someone's going to order that stuff, and that stuff takes time. So no, the cooking gets interesting, especially like late in the late game. Like the later recipes are multi-step,
My god, dude.
Yeah.
I guess this game is all about the crafting, right? So I
even cooking is like
that it gets crazy later on. I just didn't expect it to, because the game comes off as very, like not intense. They're not expecting, players with experience to like expect a difficult game. New people who are not familiar with video games can come into this and play it. It seems like they have a good time.
Yeah,
that's the vibe I get from Bandle Tale.
It eases you in. It doesn't. Yeah. It's not like all of a sudden it just spikes up. It's very gradual. Like, okay, you learn how to create the cloth, and then you use that cloth to create something else. Then you combine that thing that you created with like some magic thing while you're creating it to make something else. It's like it builds up to the point at the end you're like, whoa, I'm doing a lot. And like I have like 3 things being crafted at the same time, and you have like a little workshop and everything's moving. It gets cool.
Oh man. Okay.
Do you have the bag? Yeah. Do you have a backpack yet?
I think I literally like just got the backpack. Pretty sure that's where
the backpack. The backpack is fun. It does feel like you're home, and you customize it and stuff, and you make it how you want. It's cute.
Oh yeah. I had a feeling that's like, oh, it's okay. It's some player housing that you can just take with you. Sure. Yeah. I think we talked about that a little bit in the applicability to the MMO.
Yeah, because it feels like you make it your own, and you unlock stuff based on what you're doing in the game. and you use like what in game what you earn to make your house look a little bit more unique and more you. It does feel like it's your house. Like your house is unique. My house looks probably nothing like how your house will look at the end. And the way I arrange things is completely different than the way you're going to arrange things. And it gets your house gets bigger. Like it starts out, I can't even believe how small it started compared to where I'm at now. Like my knitting house is pretty significant. Yeah.
Oh man, I assumed honestly just like assumed it was gonna stay that size, but I think it's also because I assumed it was gonna be a really short game. This is
I assumed that
wow.
too.
Yeah, dude, I was fully expecting this game to be one of the smaller Riot Forge titles. Like I
No.
thought they were going out with just like a, oh yeah, and here's our last title. But it sounds like they really this is a full fledged, yet another Riot Forge banger.
Yep. And it doesn't end. It just keeps going. Like you think, okay, this has to be the end. And then there's a whole another level. And even they'll tell you, like, you thought it was over. We're just getting started. And I'm like, I did think it was over. I really thought that was the end.
Oh my god, dude. I do really like the experience system. I think that's very cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
It
I
just
love the experience system.
yeah, it just gives you a reason to try and do everything and just wander around aimlessly. Cuz you get
Wow.
rewarded for doing just about anything.
You know what? And there's no leveling, but I do feel like stronger now, much stronger now than I did at the beginning. And I
Mhm.
wonder if, like, man, maybe in the Riot MMO, do you think? Well, I always wonder about new ways that they could do something. Like levels is a big problem in the MMOs that I've played.
I agree.
What if we did
Levels have
away with
always been a
levels?
problem. It's hard to find a good solution because removing levels creates a whole lot of other problems that you would have
Yeah,
to, you need to address a lot of, things in terms of progression and what makes the player feel good, what makes them want to play the game, what makes them feel like their character is getting stronger if you take away levels. There's an answer there. I just don't have it. But
yeah,
I think the best MMO out there will do away with MMO or will do away with levels. I genuinely think that. I think horizontal progression in general, like Bandle Tale, is a lot more exciting than the linear level system that every MMO has. But also Bandle Tale, in its case, it's a single player game that's entirely contained with a beginning and end. Right?
yeah,
They're not having to constantly expand this game and add new tiers for each of your skills and that kind of stuff. Like the game's
yeah.
just
If
done
this
after
kept
that.
going, it'd be a
Yeah,
problem.
exactly. They map out. They're able to map out the whole thing before like the content phase of the game even starts, in terms of like development cycle. So
Mm,
with MMOs, to make something like the way Bandle Tale makes your character stronger without necessarily making your character objectively better is it's a big task, but I think it's possible. Definitely. I hope Riot takes some risks with their MMO like that. Because at this point, we have Final Fantasy 14, we have World of Warcraft. They're still running. They still exist. What's the reason to start a new MMO? What's the reason to go to Riots? So
yeah, it has to be different.
yeah, they gotta take some risks for sure. They gotta break the mold if they want to get up there with the Goliaths that exist now in the MMO space, especially MMOs in general. Like if they're just going for the MMO audience, they're gonna lose out. It won't be worth it, right? The MMO audience is really like MMO audience is like decently large, especially with Final Fantasy 14, but it's just not enough to invest in like 6 years of development to make this massive game when like hopefully updates to League of Legends won't be making more than the MMO. You know what I mean? They're
Yeah,
gonna have to reach like a mainstream audience. They're gonna have to reach the casual, the gamer in every genre. They're gonna want to hit the freaking Fortnite players if need be.
yeah.
So like and if they want to break out of the MMO audience, which they should, they're gonna have to take some risks, and that's one risk I think they should take. And I think Bandle Tale proves that you can do that kind of thing.
Man, there's so much stuff that they could do differently than how things are done today. I do feel like leveling for one is one of those things. Travel has to be a big part, the way they get around the map. No faction system, although that's not a new thing. I think a faction system would be, yeah, I really like the order hall system. We've talked about this in World of Warcraft. Like I'm not saying reinvent the wheel. There's certain things that should stay. We talked about the Holy Trinity. That's something that I do think should stay and should definitely be a part of the MMO. But I would like
Yeah,
them to, I want to be shocked a little bit. Like
me
I
too.
want to hit a little bit of like I joined the MMO and I'm like, my gosh, like nothing of my MMO experience really translates here. And
Yeah,
I feel
I
like
agree.
it's a totally fresh, uncharted water. The biggest problem, I'll let you respond to that first, and then I want to go. I want to talk to you about this, but go ahead.
Okay. I was just gonna say I totally agree that on what you said in that last thing was totally what I was gonna say is like I want to go into this MMO and it better not be like okay these are my talent points, okay this is my level, here's my experience bar, oh here it looks like
Yeah,
I got reputations, okay, oh I'm in this class, okay so that means I'm probably gonna have, okay this is my meter, right, okay yeah I use these abilities, okay got it. You know, because any other MMO that I play right now will give me that feeling, except maybe like freaking RuneScape, right? Where that game's just
yeah,
totally different. But most MMOs are going to feel like what's it like World of Warcraft and EverQuest before it. You know, those two titles are really the ones that created the MMO space that we know now. And I think it's time for a change for sure. It's been a decade now.
yeah. What you just said ties exactly into the question, which is like you're saying that you want to go in and you want that fresh new experience where you don't have those handrails where you know exactly what to do. Like I could play even though I haven't, I mean, maybe not right now because I haven't played World of Warcraft in a long time at this point. But I pretty much I would know what to do. Like I'd go to WoW, I had to look at the best talents, look at the best
Oh
build I'm
yeah.
leveling, look up the best path, and I'd be done.
Yeah, you'd be
How do
surprised how
you
quickly it comes
avoid
back to
that?
you.
That's the
Oh, the
hardest. That is the
internet? That's
biggest
the hardest
problem.
part, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, you could do it like they have what's that new one in World of Warcraft Classic?
Season of
The it's
Discovery.
not classic. Yeah, Season of Discovery does it, right? Where
I
it's like
like
they're
it.
releasing things little by little. But at
Yeah.
the same time, eventually things will be known.
Yeah, and then there will be meta builds, and that's also a problem.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, so I think Season of Discovery is they do a good job with it in the sense that they do actually keep all of the like objectives, all of the secret runes you can get to upgrade your class, to give your class new abilities. They keep those runes hidden throughout the world in the
Yeah.
open world, and they do a very good job of actually keeping them secret until launch, which is surprising given that WoW players will dig into the deepest depths of the game's like playable test build in order to find
Yeah.
these things.
Literally
But
like mining the data.
yeah, yeah. But they managed to keep it a secret, and I will say for the first like month, it's very fun. For the first month, people literally don't know where these things are, and there will be like Discord communities and stuff, and that's okay. This is something I'm going to get into. That's something that you didn't
So
find
you
back
played
then,
it, right?
right? Yeah,
You
I
played
played a
it
decent
for
amount of it.
okay.
Me and a
Give a little
friend.
bit of background on what it is and what makes it unique because a lot of people I mean our I feel like our community is mostly I mean we're obviously
Yeah,
League of
we're a
Legends
Riot
players,
podcast.
Teamfight Tactics players, Legends of Runeterra players,
Yeah.
2x kill player eventually. But a lot of them don't even know
True.
what World of Warcraft is, ever played World of Warcraft. So explain Season of Discovery a little bit for them.
Okay. So, dude, yeah, I'm gonna say World of Warcraft is wild because we started off with World of Warcraft Classic, right? Which is the original World of Warcraft that released in what, like 2004, 2005.
Hmm.
And after that released, yeah, people played through it, pretty sick of it. And the problem was everyone already knew everything. I think that was the biggest problem people had with Classic WoW. So the game came out in 2005 and it was already solved. So everyone
Yeah.
already knew the
It's been
builds.
solved
They
for a
knew
minute.
exactly how to play their class. Yeah, they knew how to play at every single level, what quests to do, what professions to be. You know, like
How to
you're an
kite
alchemist or
every
you're an
mob.
engineer. I'm sorry if you're not an engineer, you're stupid. It's that sort of deal.
Yeah.
So Season of Discovery, the whole point of that is that it's classic WoW again, but they added in these runes that you can find in treasure chests. These chests are found just all around the open world, but they're not just like lying around. They're going to be secrets. There might be a new like a NPC just walking around in one of the old areas, and like they're a new character. You can talk to them if you're like a warrior, and he'll give you some information on where maybe to find a rune Turns out it's like hidden in a bush somewhere, and you got to find this like suspicious bush out in the zone. That sort of stuff. That was just like a very like bland example. They get
Yeah.
really cool with it.
And I want to explain
And
the difference. So between that, what you just said, where you walk up to this guy and he tells you where the rune is, let's say that was something that was established before, there would
Mhm.
already be an add-on, which an add-on is something you add, like an overlay on top of your game, that tells you you want this rune. You go to talk to this guy who then will tell you this, but you don't even need to know that because you just want to go here and collect this.
Yeah, I
And
was gonna
that's how
say,
you
yeah,
get the
you don't
rune.
even talk to that guy at that point.
Yeah.
They just show you where it is on your map, and you go to
And
the yellow
yeah.
marker on your map, and then you click on the bush, and that's it.
It
And then
becomes
at that
that then
point,
it becomes literally just run and grab it and you're done.
yeah, and at that point it becomes tedious, right? It's like, why do I even have to do this? This is such a waste of
Yeah.
time. Like, why can't they just give me the rune? And it's because it's
Yeah.
not fun at that point because you already know everything. So they did a really good job of hiding all this stuff, keeping it all completely secret from the community until launch. And at launch, you should have seen general chat, which is just like like a little like almost like a chat room where everyone within the same zone. Like let's say in Runeterra's case, if everyone's in the Freljord, there's a Freljord chat that everyone's in. So you better believe that like general chat's always talking about like, hey, I'm a warrior. Where do I get this rune? Where do I find this guy? Oh, is this the guy I need to talk to? Oh wait, how the heck do I get to this chest that's all the way up on this cliff? What the heck? Like what do I do? And that led to so much community conversation and socializing. I made so many friends so easily just by wondering how the heck I get a rune. And I don't know, dude, when you don't have that instant access, the game becomes so much more immersive. Little things become so much more exciting, like getting that rune instead of it just showing up on your map being like just freaking holding down the W key to run over there. I now have to actually talk to my fellow warrior players to find out how to get the warrior rune. And that just, dude,
Exactly.
little stuff like that is what makes or breaks an MMO. Absolutely. It's what kept me coming back. I wouldn't come back for any other reason to SOD other than to talk to people and find this stuff.
Exactly. And that's the hardest thing I think to capture and to
Yeah,
maintain is
absolutely.
that like and because and not only that there's the added benefit for there's that initial benefit that's like okay I'm enjoying like something that's new that's fresh that I'm not like just following a guide for. Then because it's not new, because it's like fresh and new, no one knows anything, it forces you to communicate. And there's always people who say like I'm just looking to play by myself. It's an MMO at the end of the day, and you have to force people to work with others
Agreed.
because that's the whole point. That's the whole point of the world in general is you need to work with others. Like this podcast would be pretty boring if it was just me talking the whole time.
Yeah.
You want to you want to like work with others to accomplish big things. And in an MMO it should be the same thing. Like yeah, you can group up with a dungeon, and you can do something pretty cool. Or you can group up with a raid and do something really cool. Or you can like
Mhm.
work, do some like arena a little bit, have some fun, like fight some people. Or you can like make a close knit group that plays together a lot and you guys can get really good together. And the more you work with others, the more you should be rewarded. And that's
Uh,
that added benefit without it's an unintentional benefit of what you're talking about.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, like I get the rune, and the thing is, a lot of times I don't even know what the rune is, right? Like I just see in general chat people are talking about this warrior rune in the Barrens, which is like this like deserty area. And I'm just like,
Mhm.
warrior rune in the Barrens? How do I get that, fellow warriors? And then I get it, and I don't even know what the heck it is until I equip it on my character. I'm like, oh, this is awesome. Dude, my ability upgraded. Now I'm so much stronger. I'm so much better. Oh my god, I can kill these centaurs so much faster. Like, little stuff like that. You're like I'm not knowing that I'm gonna be able to kill the centaurs faster. It's a fun little surprise after talking to people and figuring some stuff out on my own little adventure. And even so, like in the case of nowadays, right? Like, of course, there was like Discord communities that popped up right away for this kind of stuff, and I personally like that, right? Because that's just another avenue of socializing for people. Like,
Yeah.
you now have to go onto the Discord server and talk to fellow World of Warcraft players to find these runes. And that's a whole lot better than looking it up on the website, like Wowhead, where they have all the information for World of Warcraft you could ever need. That
And
is
at this
why
point they
I came back
do.
to SOD and
Like
not retail.
100% at this point on Wowhead, you can find those
Oh
runes.
yeah, absolutely.
It's
There's
already
already
done.
add-ons for it. There's already add-ons
Yeah.
where you can just find it on the map. And yeah, it's a
And
bummer.
I want to emphasize this too. Okay, like it's impossible to avoid the internet. The internet's going to be a part of the game. You can't have everything ever changing constantly. Like you can't be moving the runes around all the time. I don't know. That just seems weird to
Yeah,
me.
no, that would just be like annoying at that point, honestly.
Yeah.
But
But what you can do is control the game. Like
mhm.
I really feel like World of Warcraft, they have no control over the game because an add-on completely changes the way everyone plays. I can look at
Oh
how
yeah,
someone else I can look at someone else playing the game. It looks like a completely different game than what I play because I play with almost no add-ons. But I even played without deadly boss mods for a
I was
while,
about
which
to
I'm
say
not
no.
gonna
Wait,
even
wait,
get into that.
dude, I was gonna say at this point they kind of expect you to have it. Definitely, the
Yeah.
difficulty of the raids in that game are definitely expecting you to have add-ons to help you know how to beat the boss. They fully expect you to
I'll,
have it. Otherwise, you can't
I'll
beat the
explain it.
boss.
Yeah. I'll explain how crazy that is, that it's even allowed,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah, this is by the
Me and
way
you.
massive like potholes that Riot has to look out for in their MMO. Dude, I hope no
Yeah, because
add-ons.
you can't fix it. It's a
Yeah,
pothole that
you
cannot be
can't. It's a
patched.
one-way street. Yeah, yeah. Once you go down that road, you can't go back. Riot, please do not do
Exactly.
this. But yeah, explain. Explain this massive
Okay.
issue with most MMOs.
Okay. 2x KO is a fighter, right?
Mhm.
We're just fighting each other, whatever. Me and you are fighting in a game, right? But let's say that I download add-ons which add a layer of let's make it even simpler.
Mhm.
There's Counter-Strike, right?
Yeah.
Okay, you can get an add-on for that game that will show you players through walls. That is an
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
advantage,
You can
right?
just see everyone. Yeah, no matter where they are. Yep.
Exactly. Okay. Now, in World of Warcraft, that's like, oh yeah, everyone should download that add-on so you could see the mobs through the walls. Because otherwise you're an idiot. You won't know when to come out around the corner side. You can, CC or whatever.
Hmm.
Versus in this game, it's considered cheating. I
Yeah.
think it's to that level. Like, I think
I agree.
add-ons
It
in
is
World
to
of
that level
Warcraft
now.
are cheating.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, oh, so like in any other game, let's say we're playing like a single player RPG. You can download all the stinking mods you want, and I couldn't care less, right? Like you can download a mod that just instantly gives you 999 stats on your character in this RPG that you're playing by yourself. That's perfectly fine. But or you can just like not have the mods and play normally, whatever. The problem is when you're in MMO, you have other people relying on you, right? When you're in a dungeon or a raid, it's not just your success or failure; it's the group's success or failure. So if you're not using the add-ons to make the dungeon or raid easier for yourself, you're holding the whole team back, which is just kind of like rude, you know?
Yep.
So that's a big issue with MMOs is that min-maxing in general is kind of expected at some point. If you want to actually play the game on a somewhat competitive level, if you want to actually push your character, then you're expected to download these add-ons, and it's not just for you, it's for everyone. You're
Yeah.
affecting other players when you're playing competitively. So you need to
I
have these
legit
add-ons.
and they remove add-ons in competitive, like when you're playing an arena competitively on the PvP, like the actual scene. When they're
Mm-hmm.
competing, you can't have any add-ons, but they
Well, I
do
didn't know
allow the race to
that.
world first. Yeah, you're not allowed to have any add-ons because
Wow.
it gives you an unfair advantage. But
Yeah,
then the
that's
race
fair.
to world first, they allow add-ons.
What? What
It
the
makes
heck,
no
dude?
sense. Yeah, it
That's
makes no
even
sense
worse
to
than
me.
that's even worse than arena in my opinion.
Exactly. It
Dude, they
I
probably pay
consider
people
it
to make
cheating.
add-ons for them.
At It should not be even considered. Like add-ons in the game should not be allowed. It shouldn't be allowed in 2x KO. It's not allowed in League of Legends. It's not allowed in Legends of Runeterra. Like you should not have an add-on that looks at the player's cards in Legends of Runeterra. Obviously, people can program something outside of it. That there's always people that will find a
Oh,
way.
there's
Where
gonna be
there's a will,
tools
there's a
outside
way.
of the game. Yeah.
Yeah. But imagine if Legends of Runeterra, you could download an add-on that literally Riot themselves help you port into the game that looks at the player's cards, it'll predict the deck that they're building and recommend based on your cards which card to play.
Yeah.
Now
And
that
now
game
if
is
you don't use
boring.
that, you're at a disadvantage. Chances are the other person's using it.
You're gonna lose. I'm sorry, no one
Yeah.
can beat a computer. Like at the end of the day, freaking what they do, they like trained a computer on StarCraft. This was years and years and years ago.
Oh
I
yeah.
was watching a video on it like last week that they trained a computer on StarCraft, and eventually the machine got so good that it just started training versus itself because humans weren't good enough anymore to like challenge it. and so it just trained on itself to the point where you cannot beat it.
Yeah, just optimize itself into oblivion.
Yeah.
I want to watch that. Actually, it sounds amazing.
Like,
But
people are
yeah.
competing against AI in the real world. I don't want to do it in the game. Okay.
Seriously, oh, I didn't even think about the power of AI and add-ons. Oh my god, Riot better not allow add-ons. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Actually, I think so. I know Final Fantasy 14. I'm pretty sure they do allow add-ons, but they don't allow damage meters because they say it's toxic to have damage meters, which I think is funny.
Who says that?
The devs behind Final Fantasy 14.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they don't allow damage meters in Final Fantasy 14. They'll ban you over it if they find out you're using them. Because I guess they're all World of Warcraft players, by the way. Like they based Final Fantasy 14 heavily off of World of Warcraft, and it shows. But yeah, obviously damage meters are going to some extent. You're going to see who's doing the lowest damage. If you're not getting past a boss, you're probably going to call them out or just kick them from the group outright. So I can see how it leads to some toxicity. But at the same time, I can't imagine playing the game without damage meters.
You need it. You shouldn't baby players.
As a raid leader, I think you need it, right? Because you don't want to waste people's time doing the same boss over and over again. You can't find out what the problem is. Turns out this guy's spamming one spell over and over. He's holding the group back. Like, so at that point, I'm like, please just like innately put damage meters in the game, Riot. Like, if you're going to do competitive dungeons and raiding and PvP, please just already have damage meters in the game. Because that's like a requirement, especially if you're a leader of a group.
At the end of a boss fight, I think that during the fight, you don't need to see anything. But at the end of the fight, it should show like, oh, who did the most damage, who CC'd stuff, this person CC'd this, like whatever, some log or something like that.
Like a log of what's happened.
Yeah. That's cool. And that provides, and you cannot baby the player. Like at the end of the day, people are going to be trying to push for something that's pretty difficult. And that's what's rewarding, is when you're pursuing something difficult. And when you're doing that, you do have to like fine tune stuff. Like, you have to tell this person like, oh, you're not CCing this. This has to be CC'd. If you don't have that information and they're saying they're CCing it or whatever, then you have to go with what they say. And now it's like creating even more problems just because you're trying to bubble wrap all your players. Don't bubble wrap them. Just people are going to fight. It's fine. It's part of the world. Everyone's playing together. It's going to happen.
Dude. And you're going to have player interaction, which means you're going to see the good and the bad. But I personally think the good way outweighs the bad.
100%. 100%. Trust the community.
Yeah. Trust the community to solve their own problems. I always say that, dude. That's the whole point of like GMs versus, having bots that ban stuff. GM is basically just the teacher that'll sit back and let the kids play at recess until something goes wrong. That the teacher needs to come in and fix. Otherwise, let the kids figure out their own stuff.
Man, I did not want to reveal this until the Riot MMO comes out. I was going to keep it secret. I was going to keep it hidden. I was going to internalize it. At the end of every podcast, once the Riot MMO comes out, we'll have a do not play list and avoid list of players that have done bad. If you ninja loot, for example, we'll let you know. We'll announce them on stream. And you know what? That's not us being toxic. Okay, that's us protecting the community. And you have to trust the community to police itself. Agreed. And this will be one of the places where we do that. Okay,
dude. And again, for the billionth time, that's why I want individual servers. I know individual servers come with their own like share of problems, like
memes gotta matter.
Super servers. That's for Riot to figure out, and I'm sure they can. I'm sure they're capable of figuring out how to maintain good server balance. I mean, especially if it's not like World of Warcraft where they don't have factions. That makes it a whole lot easier. But please, having individual servers allows us to figure things out like that. Like then we can have that blacklist of players saying, "Hey, this guy ninja looted. By the way, like he stole a piece of loot from the group in that one dungeon. So stay away from that guy. Don't invite him into your groups. All right." And now guess what? That guy's stuck at like level 25 because he can't get into a dungeon anymore.
It has to be. It has to be individual servers. Otherwise, it's pointless. I could say don't join this person. Whatever.
You'll never see him. Most people will never see him.
Watch out for Rockefeller. Rockefeller GG.
Yeah, yeah.
avoid him, and all of a sudden it doesn't matter because you'll never see him anyways because we're
Yeah, he's
all
playing with every
freaking
single person in the world. Like every single person on the freaking West Coast is all in one basically on one giant server. So you're never gonna
yeah.
see him.
If the game is successful, we're assuming a lot. It could
We
be
are.
that, yeah,
That's true.
it could be that you see him every single dungeon you do. Hopefully not. I would ban him, but I've got no one else.
Yeah.
Avoid that.
No, then you just let him into the dungeon and kick him at the end before he gets a chance.
Yes.
Kick him right before the
Yeah.
boss goes down.
I did not want to announce the Brazen Hydra ban list yet, but it
Dude,
just pertains to
that's
the
really good
conversation.
though. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
The problem
We
is
do
it's
it for
only gonna be
you.
on our server though. If you're on our server, we're looking out for you. If you're not on our server, tough luck. Good luck getting in that group with the ninja looter.
Yeah. Bro, I listened to someone joins the group and they just happened to listen to our podcast and we were just destroying a person for being a complete punk and ninja looting and like causing so many problems.
Dude,
That's the dream.
oh my god, we have authority. I would.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's hilarious to think about. People would leave our groups out of fear of being called out, even if like
Bro, that's
perfectly normal
Endgrove and
player, nothing wrong
Conquest.
with them.
Don't
They
don't join
they are on
them.
the line. Your server reputation is on the line when you group with us. My
It
god.
should be though at all times. At all times. Like it should be that if someone joins an arena and is constantly leaving because they get pissed, like they're just
Yeah,
quitting
yeah,
every single
yeah,
arena.
like
I want
rage
to know
quit.
that.
Yeah, agreed.
And if it's constantly every single person is meshed, well, you're never going to play with that person again. And you could shout it from the rooftops and it wouldn't help anyone and wouldn't make a difference. If I'm on a specific server and I say this person constantly is joining arenas, he did it with me, he did it with another person. If like he just gets pissed and freaking leaves every 10 seconds, then yeah, other people will maybe give him a shot. But at least, you're saying that this person's kind of effed up when it comes to arena. And
Yeah.
they're going to, it hurts your rank when they leave because, after that, you still lose.
Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely. That's more than enough reason to have these people's names out there.
Just let the
And luckily,
community
you can
police
do that with separate
themselves.
servers, dude. Oh man,
Yeah.
I really hope so. Because I'm like, honestly, even at this point, another thing I love about separate servers is that they kind of feel almost like a stinking football team, right? Like you're a fan
Yeah.
of this server. You're on this server. This is your team. All right. And
Yeah.
on the Riot MMO subreddit, whenever the heck that drops, you're gonna be
Yeah.
chanting about how awesome your server is and how stupid that server is. Nobody should play on that server.
That's why
a
World
stupid
First used to
server.
matter, though. That's why Arena used to matter. Like people used to have pride and almost like a team. You're right. It was the server. People used to watch World First because they wanted their server to win. They wanted
Yeah,
everyone to
dude.
know that this server had the best raiders in the world. Or
Yeah,
they
you're
wanted
a good
everyone to know
player
that
because you're on that
yeah,
server.
the top PvPers in the world are playing on this server. They want like that
Yeah, dude.
recognition. Like, yeah,
I
I'm from
love
this
that.
server. It's like you're not actually good, and
Yeah,
that
yeah.
has to be remembered, right? But like it's like, okay, you're not
Yeah,
actually
but
good
you're
at
on the good
soccer,
player server, so you must
but
be
you root
good.
for your country in the World Cup. And
Yeah.
and it
Literally,
feels
that's
good when you
it.
win. And you say we won.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
so true. That's
That's a
literally it.
psychological thing, by the way.
Really? Oh my, he has now
Yeah.
like tribe mentality or something?
Yeah. If let's say that my team wins the game, I'll say we won. And
Hmm.
if they lose, what would you say?
Oh yeah, they suck. They're horrible.
They lost, not we
Yeah,
lost.
yeah.
They lost. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So you take all the victory, but you keep away from all the defeat. Regardless, it's important.
Yeah, please, Riot. Separate servers, dude. Each individual server, I would love it so much. Oh my god. I think it's almost required for a sense of community. Like,
It wouldn't be
honestly.
possible without it.
Yeah, dude. Every MMO these days has its, like its parties, its guilds, its like individual communities. Like World of Warcraft at this point has guilds and communities. You can join communities or guilds. And even
Mhm.
then, outside of your guild, you don't have much community, right?
Yeah.
Outside of your community group chat or whatever, you don't have any sense of like belonging, you know? You
Mhm.
have those like 20 people and that's it. Compared to like individual server, dude, that whole world is your community. That entire server is your people. I love it so much. Man, oh man. It's like what makes MMO an MMO for me, genuinely.
So here's what I want to ask you too. Because the community thing that you're tracking with, it's right. I agree with it 100%. And we have to have like that. It's so important for server health and for like that. You want like, they always like PvP scene with League of Legends and stuff. And you're going to need that server recognition that helps with it. Because to say like, oh, I'm rooting for those guys, I'm rooting for Team Veritas or whatever because they're from my server. That
Yeah,
that does contribute. I
absolutely.
will say this, that it doesn't come without its problems. And its
Oh
problem
yeah.
is the biggest problem. The
Mhm.
biggest problem is that let's say that they win, right? Team Veritas uh from server Draven. Right? I'm not gonna pick that name because I always say it wrong. From server Echo, the Echo server, whatever. You know,
Yeah, the
they
Echo
always I
server.
feel like they always name I feel like Aurelion Soul will probably be a server name. So from
Yeah,
server
absolutely.
Aurelion
I
Soul,
hope they do that.
right?
I really like how World of Warcraft does that. They'll name their servers after
Yeah.
places or characters.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, you're right. The Brazen Hydra server. Okay.
We'll see you guys on the Brazen Hydra server.
In the Brazen Hydra pub. Okay, so like let's say that people are on me and you are on the I'm on the Brazen Hydra server.
Hmm.
Just me. And you're like, okay, I want to make my character. I obviously want to play with Endgrove. We talk all the time. We're gonna play together. You go to make a character on the Brazen Hydra server and it's full.
Mm.
Now
Yep.
because it's a server, you cannot just let everyone in all the time and you cannot like you have to limit it eventually because it's a server.
Hmm.
Now, there's two solutions in my opinion. One, it has to be a mega server where everyone plays with everyone. It's literally a world. Uh, there's no like separation of servers like it is in World of Warcraft. It's literally the world of Runeterra. And
So you're
there's
saying
an
like,
there's only three servers. There's America, there's Europe, there's South America, and there's Asia. Those are like the four different things that you could like just like because of language barrier, right? You wouldn't want to
that?
be walking around and then you don't
Yeah.
understand anyone.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah, you definitely need some language
And a
barrier.
Latin America one. And those are the servers, right? In terms of that segregation, but it's like you're playing on the America world. Now,
That would be crazy. I
yeah,
mean,
but what I see the problem with that is
hmm,
that would be the same as because you have to phase out people when they get too many people together
that's what I was thinking.
because
Like, how you got to
otherwise the
deal with
server
like
would
mob
crash.
scarcity and stuff like that. Yeah, and definitely you're gonna have some pretty bad connection issues when you have like big open world
Yeah.
battles, stuff like
And
that.
then you end up with the same problem as before, where it's like, okay, phasing and everything. And you might as well, when you select America, that's what you're doing right now in World of Warcraft, is you're on the America
Yeah,
server.
it's very true. Yeah, you're either East Coast or West Coast, right? That's all it is.
Yeah,
Actually, I
you're
think it's even
pretty.
just America in general. I think you're right.
It's just America in general. I think I have no idea. I think they try to
I
like
think you're
merge
right.
certain servers, but it tends to be like just everyone's everywhere and everything, whatever.
Yeah, like there's no way to keep track, honestly. I
Yeah,
hardly know what server I'm in half the time.
exactly. And so then you end up with the problem that you're having. WoW, where it's like no one matters
Yep,
because
your
you have to
actions don't
introduce
matter.
phasing to solve for that. The
Yep.
other solution is there's no phasing. You introduce enough players into the world that as long as everyone, the entire community, doesn't aggregate in one little corner,
Hmm.
the server's not going to crash. Or even if that happens, the server won't crash. You like limit it like that. There can be this many players on a section on a server. Now the problem with that is if me and you want to play together, you don't have any other problems. But if me and you want to play together, we might get stuck. Where like I'm on the server and you want to play with me, but the server's full. That's where I get
Yeah,
stuck on like I don't know a solution.
agreed. It also comes down to the this is a problem with modern day MMOs is that if you do individual servers, a lot of people will tend to congregate around one server, especially because we live in a world with influencers, which we didn't
Yep.
before back in like 2005, which
Yeah.
means that if the biggest, Riot MMO gamer out there, some big name like League of Legends player, tries out the Riot MMO, hops on a server.
Asmongold.
Yeah, Asmongold, professional League of Legends player, hops on Riot MMO, hops on a server, everyone's going on that server. Like
Mhm.
24,000 people instantly make a character on that server. And now everyone's saying, oh, if you want to actually play the game and see a lot of people, you go to that server. So that moves even more people to that server. it just becomes a big problem where now you have like 5 dead servers in one server that's way overcrowded, right? Luckily, I think I think World of Warcraft has done better recently with classic WoW than they did in the past. I don't know why or how, but they've managed to spread people out a lot better with Season of Discovery than they did with the original classic WoW. Even like even Classic Plus or whatever the heck it was.
Mhm.
Um they managed to do a lot better with the server spread. So I don't know if that's just because people are kind of over classic compared to the initial release, or if they actually done a better job of like having different types of servers, people interested in different things, and like kind of raising and lowering the cap for servers, right? Like I think at launch the cap for servers was a lot higher because they knew people wouldn't be playing that much like a month from then, so they allowed people to play
Mhm.
on it and kind of almost like break it a little bit. But then it's fine because like half the freaking population drops. So it's definitely interesting the server populations. That's the one big problem I have too with individual servers. The server populations can get a little wonky, especially in the modern day with the internet, where it's a lot easier to
Yeah.
find out what's the most popular server and then hop on that to make the problem even worse.
Here's what I think they could do. Okay, if you have to do some sort of phasing, right, where it allows a high population server to phase a little bit, so that way it can be balanced out, is you wait for the game to settle, and then you take that high population server and you make it phase with a very low, like the highest population server merges with the lowest population server,
Just have it devour
and
other servers.
yeah,
Actually, I
so
think
like
that's
it'll
what they
just
did in like the in classic is that they allowed people on lower pop servers to have a free character transfer. They're able to transfer their character anywhere on like certain servers.
mhm.
And I like that
Yeah,
idea a lot.
it almost like to balance that. So I worked as a network engineer for a while, and let's say that me and you are both trying to access a website, and the backend servers are full. It will either queue or it'll start balancing between the servers. And you even do that if you want to have a new website, right? You don't just shift everything over to the new website. You'll like distribute the traffic between the new website and the old website. And I feel like if you have a high pop server and you do something similar with a low pop server, where then the high population, if it becomes overcountry in a certain area, can kind of queue or like, uh, go between, it'll offload some of that into the low pop server. Now, the problem with that is, let's say that low pop server suddenly becomes a high pop server, and that's a problem because now you have two high pop servers, and you can't just separate them now because people are playing together, and it's almost like one server and one community, right? And then at that
Yeah.
point, you might as well call it the same name and just introduce another server to offload instead of making it a separate server altogether. Man, the toughest
It's
thing is
hard.
this. This is the
It's
toughest thing.
I agree. This is one and it's so important. Right? At the end of the day, this Riot MMO, one thing we know for certain about this Riot MMO, if we know nothing else, which we know nothing else, is
We
that
know which we know
there's
nothing
gonna
else, by
be
the way.
there's gonna
Yeah, we
be
can't say what they
some
told us.
important
Don't say that.
wink
Don't.
wink. Yeah, we know
Yeah,
nothing, guys.
yeah,
Riot
yeah,
definitely didn't
definitely.
invite us over and tell us everything about the Riot MMO. It's actually coming out tomorrow. We already know everything. But
I like the
other
whole
than
tell the
that,
truth to tell a lie.
yeah.
Yep. I like
yeah,
where your
yeah.
head's at.
Yeah, I try. What can I say to please the
Yeah.
people? But one thing we're allowed to say, you know, is that this game will have some community and social aspect, right? It's an MMO. That's the point of the name. It's going to have some social and community aspects to it. And a server, it being individual servers, is what's going to like make any kind of sense of community. And if you
Hmm.
do it wrong, the community is going to suffer for it big time. The social aspect is really going to get hurt because you're going
Yeah.
to have people playing on servers that were doing well in the first week. Now they're dead because everyone moved over to the high populated server because people want to socialize and they want to be part of the big community. Now you're on this dead server. You don't want to pay money to transfer servers, so you just stop playing the game. That's going to
Yeah.
happen if they're not careful. Very, very careful. And honestly, I don't have a great answer for it. This is the biggest
Yeah.
conundrum ever, and that's why World of Warcraft moved away from it. and I think it's why most MMOs moved away from it. Right? I'm pretty sure Final Fantasy 14 does not have individual servers. At least I don't think so.
I
Outside of
have
like
no
player
idea.
housing and stuff like that. I mean, like just like World of Warcraft, right? There's like certain aspects tied to your server, which I don't even think they have that anymore. But like Final Fantasy 14 will have certain aspects tied to your server, like the player housing. But I'm
Mhm.
not sure outside of that. I think outside of that, they probably have some kind of phasing when you're out in the open world.
And there better be
But
player housing.
there better be. Hey man, Bandle Tale has it, so surely.
Bandle Tale has it. The MMO better.
Bandle Tale is all we have to go off of for the MMO. That's all of our MMO information, actually. Is that it's maybe it'll be like Bandle Tale, that third party title that they released.
Bandle Tale hinting at player housing for the Riot MMO? Question mark, question mark, exclamation point, thinking face.
Oh my god.
Confirmed? Question mark? Possibly? Question mark? Could it be?
Dude, I can't wait for my 8-bit Yordle to make his way into the Riot MMO. They're gonna have character transfers for sure, right? I'll be able to place my Yordle. Pretty sure they probably said that, right?
100%. Oh yeah.
Okay, awesome.
There's no way in terms of races, it's going to be human. I think Vastaya will have like a couple different options. I hope there's a centaur option for Noxus just because I feel like they're unique.
Dude, please.
Yeah, I think
Please.
you'll have I hope we have a troll option as well. That's from the Freljord just to
Troll
add
be
some
insane. Aren't they
variety.
like massive though? They never have to like
Yeah.
scale them down. Maybe honestly, the thing is, nice thing about Runeterra is that it's like I said before, it's so open ended. They could totally
Yeah.
just make some like some half trolls or something,
Yeah,
right?
some tribe that's part of the trolls that ends up integrating more with the humans that's not like, so animal like so vicious or whatever.
Yeah,
I don't know. They're so
Runeterra.
out there that they kind of integrate with us more into the community more, and so they're like regular trolls that just walk.
Yeah, dude. Runeterra as a narrative is so young. There's so much they
It
can do
is
with it right now. There's so much open-ended stuff going on in Runeterra that they could easily just add whatever the heck they want to it. The
Look
proof of
what they
that is the
just
League
did
of
with
Legends
Smolder.
heroes. Yeah, I was about to say that.
Yeah,
What they just did with Smolder right now, dude, that we had no indication of Smolder or the dragon people from like
yeah.
freaking Camivore. We didn't know anything about that until they just drop Smolder and say, "Yep, here's this lore. Here's all this
No,
lore all of a sudden about these dragons from Camivore." And they
here's
can
this
just
lore.
do
Remember
that, dude.
everything about Viego and Camivore? Well, the dragons were there first, and
Yeah, literally, they
they,
just did that, and it works.
yeah,
Like it
yeah.
fits.
Viego literally called upon the dragons to accompany him to the Blessed Isles, but they refused. Like there's a
Yeah.
whole story there that's it's not even in Ruination.
Hmm.
So
Yeah,
this
dude,
is
because
like
they just
fresh
did it.
lore that they just threw out there. And now it's not even it's not only like lore,
It's
it's
like
a
major
big
lore.
that's
It's
big lore.
important.
Like whoa.
Very important. Dude,
Yeah.
that's the thing. Like for the RiotMMO, if they want some like like slightly larger than human sized trolls in as a playable
Mhm.
race, they can just do that, dude.
Yeah.
Like you said, they can just drop that tribe in the Freljord, and there it is. You can play as them.
That's what I'd like
Like
to
the
see.
sky's the limit, man.
I'd like to see, I think, trolls from the Freljord,
Agreed.
Centaur. If you're playing Noxus, you can play a Centaur. Humans
Please.
are everywhere. Vastaya are everywhere, and if you make a Vastaya, you can customize them a little bit in terms of their animalistic characteristics because they're tied to the spirit realm, and who knows what descendant you're from. You can't make like a Ari type Vastaya because she's the last one of her kind, but you can
Hmm.
make a more general one. And humans and Yordles, you definitely have to have Yordles, and I think
Yeah, I
that
think girls are
is
required,
pretty
right?
well rounded rather than the three that I like said at the I think I was pretty hard set on humans, Vastaya, Yordles, but
Yeah,
I
those are
do
like
think those are the
guaranteed,
three
I feel.
main.
Yeah,
Yeah,
those are
those
like
are three
guaranteed.
main. But I would
Yeah.
like to see Centaur and Trolls in there as well.
Agreed. Honestly, dude, yeah. We need large size, you know?
Something
We got
different.
small, and we got two medium size. We need large. And
Yeah.
that's where the trolls and centaurs come in. I totally agree. Absolutely, dude. I don't know. I mean, like, Vastaya will have some variety of their own, right? But at the end of the day, they're still just going to be, like, human-ish. I mean, like,
Yeah,
they
a
still
lot of
have
them
some,
are
like,
very
some are
humanish.
more
Look at
animalistic than
Ari.
others. Yeah.
Put a helmet on Ari, and then
Yeah,
it
that's
should
the
just be
problem,
like
right?
a ear thing with if you ignore her tail, take out her tail, and just put a helmet on her. She's human.
yeah, like the only indicator will be that a Vastaya will have a tail sticking out. I think even like some of Vastaya are like full on looking lizard people, right? Am
Yeah,
I
some
wrong about
Vastaya
that?
have legs of like gazelle, you know? Like they're very
Yeah,
different.
yeah. I mean, like at the end of the day, I think they're gonna stick with bipedal, right? Just for the
That'll be
sake
the
of like
easiest.
how armor and stuff is gonna fit. Yeah, like they're gonna
I'd
want
be
some
very surprised if you're
universally
like a half
working
unicorn
character.
running
Yeah,
around.
highly doubt if they do that. That's insane, and I have so much respect for them. Goddamn, but I don't
It's a
think it's
lot of
gonna
work.
happen. We're
No,
gonna all the characters are gonna have 2 arms and 2 legs. Is my very strong assumption. My
I
very
think
strong
so too.
educated guess. So like at the end of the day, yeah, the Vastaya in full armor is gonna look a whole lot like the human in full armor, and that really only leaves up to the Yordles. And sadly, most people actually do not want to play as the small race. As much as I want to play the small race,
Bandle Tale
the
tempted me a
past
little bit. I'm not gonna lie. Like
like
I've never
main
been.
Yordle. I know
Yeah,
you're gonna make every race, right? I feel like as Ensgrove, you're gonna make every race at some point. But
yeah, but I don't know.
main
I feel like
Yordle,
I get really partial to a race, and then I make that like right now. If I play WoW, I'm playing a Tauren Druid, 100%. Like there's nothing else that I'm gonna play, and I do
yeah.
feel like I want to have that one specific character that I play that
Mhm.
does everything. And then if I literally do everything, like everything is capped out, there's literally nothing I can do on this character, then maybe I'll make another character. But
That's fair.
I want to really commit into one. And so
Yeah, I'm
my
that way too.
when we're gonna have like when it comes time when the game's getting close or when we're talking about beta and like we know which races and classes are gonna be in the game, I think we're gonna have like 3, 4 episodes talking about what we were gonna make
Oh,
because I want to have a decision.
easily. Yeah, dude. No, there's no way we're not gonna go into like the beta or day one release not knowing exactly what we're gonna make for sure.
Yeah,
And nothing, dude. In any MMO that you play for the first time, nothing is more special than the first character you make, right? Like,
yeah,
even if
no,
that character does not end up becoming your main, you never delete that character.
you'll never
They're always
forget
gonna
it
be
either.
there. Yeah, you never
Yeah,
forget. You never forget who your first character that you made is in a new MMO.
yeah,
Like, especially if it's one that you invest a lot of time into, in terms of like the MMO itself. And I could
yeah.
definitely tell, like,
And
whatever big hammer Yordle I make day one, if he doesn't end up becoming my main or anything, he's always gonna be there. I'm gonna be like, yeah, that was my first Yordle. That was one me and Entgrove talked about for 3 hours.
yeah, I think it's gonna. I that's what I would like it to be my main. Like from day one, that like that character that I made
Yeah,
day
that's the
one is still
dream,
the
right?
character I'm playing. So I want to
Yeah.
make sure I make the right decision and the character that I click create. And obviously, we can't reveal anything about the beta right now. Again, like can't
Yeah, of
talk
course.
about
Yeah,
that
yeah.
stuff.
We're gonna have to keep
Yeah,
that locked tight. We'll let you
yeah,
guys know when Riot gives us the okay. When they give us the green light, we'll talk
yeah,
all about the Riot MMO and the next 3 expansions. But for now,
yeah.
we're just gonna have to act like we're speculating a little bit here.
Exactly, exactly.
Mhm.
Keep it kosher and just keep it like we don't know anything
Yeah.
because we don't.
We're get
But
in trouble one day. We are pushing it here. Oh
But
god.
I do want to talk a little bit. So this is the last thing I just want to say as well. So right now we know 2x KO. I think I'm gonna play a lot of this game to be honest, especially if there's some story mode in it. We know that the release date's gonna speculative. They say 2015 or not 2015,
2025.
2025,
Yeah.
sometime in 2025. What are your thoughts based on that? What's your new estimation of the Riot MMO release date?
Well, let's see. 2025 is all we know, right? Like we don't even know if it's gonna be like early or late 2025. I'm assuming it's gonna be
Uh,
early
I'm
2025 is my guess.
I'm pretty
Because the game's
confident
pretty
it'll be
far
early
along.
2025.
Right? Like when you
Yeah.
see the gameplay footage, the game looks very far along. It looks pretty
Yeah, it
done.
does.
They're deep into content phase, for sure.
Hmm.
Um so that leaves I still think at some point in 2025 there's the potential for us to see a trailer or a title drop or maybe some kind of information, some kind of official
Oh,
information, not just
so you
like, oh,
moved
we're
it out.
hiring for the Riot MMO. Yeah, yeah,
Your initial speculation at the beginning of this year said that we were going to get a name and maybe a trailer. No, no, did you
yeah.
say trailer? Or did you say just maybe a name?
I forget if I said trailer or name drop, like the trailer would have a name drop, or if it's just gonna be a name drop with some information. I'm
Man, I got to go
thinking
back to the
right
episode and
now.
find out.
Yeah, I'm curious. Quote me on it. all of this is being
Hmm.
recorded, so we'll find out. But I'm still pretty confident that at some point 2025, I feel like we're gonna see like a name drop and some kind of information outside of the fact that like right now the only information we have is that they're hiring, right? That was like our big reveal, and then occasionally they bring it up when like
Hmm.
somebody prompts them to bring it up. Otherwise, they don't talk about it.
Yeah.
So I still think it's pretty dang early on. But 2025, I genuinely believe like late 2025, we can see a name drop and some kind of official information on it, on what MMO it might be, what kind of MMO we're expecting.
Yep. I think we're gonna get something this year. We're gonna get
Yeah,
something. We're gonna get a name. We're gonna get a picture, maybe. I don't know about a picture, but like some art. Not like a picture of
yeah,
the
I
actual
believe it.
game, but maybe like a little bit of art from the
Yeah,
game that's
just
being
like
used.
one of like the zones and stuff. Yeah, some like concept art. I believe that.
Yeah. Concept art, the name, that kind of thing will be this year. I think next year we'll get like the trailer, whatever the heck. Uh I think by the end I think by the beginning of 2026, no. I think by the end of 2025 or the beginning of 2026, we'll get like first looks at like, wow, this is actually the game.
Mm.
Like next
Yeah,
next
I
year,
think I think
I think you'll see
2026 is we're
something.
actually going to see some stuff. I
Yeah,
believe it.
2026 I think 2026 will be like a beta. And I if I had to estimate a release date, like an actual release date of the Riot MMO, it would be optimistically 2026, like end of 2026,
Hmm.
and unoptimistically it would be 2027. And then a
Yeah.
late would be 2028, and that's just covering all the bases. But I would think that it'd be like
Yeah, I would
I
say
think
like
that
honestly, I would lean more towards 2027, 2028. And if it's 2027,
mhm,
it'd be like later half of 2027 would be my guess
mhm.
for an actual
So when
release,
do you think a
like
beta would
full
be out?
launch game. Beta beta, yeah, it
That would
could
be the
be
year
like mid
before.
2026 or so.
Yeah.
Like
2XKO's
I
beta is this year and they're releasing next year. So
yeah,
the beta would
that's what
come
I'm
out the year
thinking.
before.
Yeah, I could totally see like year prior, which would be like 2026, maybe 2027, of some kind of beta where servers are open for like maybe like
Limited like a
it could be as short as like 2
2 days or
weeks or
something.
to a weekend,
Yeah.
literally, of a
Yeah.
beta, where it would just be stress testing essentially, right? They'll have
Hmm.
like 2 zones open, two like 2 starting zones, 4 zones total, maybe
Yeah.
that sort of deal, 2 playable races, and that would be it. Just be players questing through the world or whatever the heck you do in the open world. Of course, there's gonna be an open world, right? Please rise, gonna be an
Oh
open
yeah.
world,
Oh
right?
yeah.
It's probably not be
Look,
some
we
like
got
Destiny type thing, but
open world, Holy Trinity, no add-ons,
yeah, yeah.
servers. Servers like I
Yeah,
no no
individual
no
servers.
phasing. Yeah.
Yeah, no phasing,
It's the only
please.
things I want to like 100% say that I need in MMO.
Yeah, everything else break the mold, dude. Everything else go crazy
Yeah.
with it.
Yeah.
Genuinely, like I
Even the
should
Holy
not be able
Trinity
to
I
even like
wouldn't include in
recognize it.
that. I think it's great. I think it's needed, but the main things I want to say are no add-ons, server pride. You have to like see
Mhm.
a player and be able to say like that player, and people will know who you're talking about because it's a server.
Yep.
That can be as big as it doesn't matter how large it is, but that kind of thing. And what was the third thing?
I thought you said Holy Trinity.
Yeah, I did say Hotrin, but we'll take that out.
That's yeah. We'll take it. Okay.
Well,
Well,
it must not have been very important.
yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna
So
look back and
two
be like, oh,
things.
that was important.
Yeah, yeah, probably
But yeah,
two
I
things.
think the Holy Trinity, the most important thing is just has roles, right? I want to play as a role in a
Yeah,
group.
I
I want to
agree.
have a job that I do to help the group, not just we're all swinging a sword, you know,
Hmm.
or we're all just shooting magic bolts and that's it. I want
Yeah,
us to have to cooperate to work together as a team to kill a boss instead of all of us just swinging at it. That's the important thing about roles in Holy
yeah.
Trinity.
You want what roles bring. It doesn't have to be like if they find another way to do it, fine. But
Hmm.
that's like your character needs to be a unique piece to a puzzle.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. We need to be cogs in a machine, not just a bunch of individual characters all hitting the same thing. There's a big difference for sure. In an MMO, that makes it even more just feel like you're part of something, you know, rather than playing a single player experience with other people.
Yeah. Well, I'll say this. I'm excited to see what we get this year. I'm excited to see what we get next year. If our timeline is right, I think we're both in agreement. We're going to get something this year, some kind of inkling, some kind of piece of news, whatever. And we're in 2024 right now, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Some kind of inkling, some kind of news, name, whatever. In 2024, you'll get a bite. 2025, I think we'll start getting some art. We'll get a cinematic, whatever. Then we're saying 2026, we'll get a beta, something like that. Or even like, I think 2026 maybe like alpha to beta, something like that. 2027 will be beta to release. Or the latest will be early 2028 would be release. I'd say that.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree with that. It would be first half of 2028 if it goes to 2028.
Yeah.
Other than that,
that's a solid timeline.
Yeah, I agree. That's solid. It'd be like later half 2027 or early half 2028. That's my final.
I got a lot of lore to cover, but I think I may be able, but if I get till 2027, 2028, I should be able to cover all the lore, hopefully. They stop adding to it.
We'll find out, won't we? We'll get to watch in real time if Ensgrove can make it before the launch of the Riot MMO.
The more I explore, the more I don't have time.
Yeah, and let's not forget, by the way, that's also like 2 years of content they're going to drop for like League of Legends and potentially other titles with more lore, like they just did with
2XKO. Yeah.
Yeah, 2XKO. Oh, watch 2XKO be the most lore-rich, just insane game ever for Runeterra. That'd be this competitive 2D fighter.
Freaking would love it.
I'm here for it. Count me in.
100%. We're going to be running 2XKO for sure. I think me and you are probably going to fight a couple of times in that game.
Oh,
but I hope you Oh yeah, 100%. We're gonna play. But I hope you enjoyed this episode. We'll continue this conversation in the next one, right here in the Brazen Hydra Pub in Bilgewater. You can find me at Endgrove on socials and YouTube.
And you can find me at Conquest95 on Twitter.
And to stay up to date for the goings-on for this podcast specifically, you can follow us at the Brazen Hydra on Twitter. Feel free to add us questions, suggest topics for us to talk about. You can also find us at thebrazenhydra.com. Thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you in the next one.